Hi there, my name is Paolo Salmi, aka Adventurer, and I'm 10 years old. Welcome to my show called Adventurous, where I get to interview super cool adventurers from around the world about their life journey. I'm the youngest ambassador for Water to Go. I also work in partnership with Lifestyle Products and Virgin Money. I'm also the founder of Adventurous Publishing House, where I publish books for adventurers who desire to share their adventures with the world. I also have a signature program called Pints as Adventurer, the Abundant Adventure Creator. I'm an award-winning author of my book series called Pints as Adventurer, an award-winning public speaker. I've spoken at events such as Mercedes-Benz World and Virgin Money Lounge, etc. I'm super excited about interviewing this awesome adventurer, Udo, Erasmus. Did I get it right?
Oh, totally butchered it, but that's okay. It's,
I'll
yeah,
just call you
Udo Erasmus.
I'll just call you Udo from now on.
Yeah, Udo's good.
Okay. He's an author, public speaker, and so much more. And he's also the founder of Udo's Recipes, which is really, really cool. I mean, Udo's Choice, sorry.
Yeah, Udo's Choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wrote a book called Fats That Heal, Fats That Kill. And I wrote a book called The Book on Total Sexy Health, The 8 Key Parts Designed by Nature. That's an adventure.
Yeah, really cool adventure. So welcome to my show, and thank you for letting me interview you. I'm really looking forward to interview you. I believe that in life there are two types of adventures that we can go on. One, an adventure of self-discovery. Two, an external adventure exploring this beautiful earth. So this is Udo. He's an amazing guy, and he's the founder of Udo's Choice, which is really, really cool. I've actually bought one of his products. So there's Udo's oil. There's some powder that you can buy that you put on like your vegetables and all that stuff. It tastes really, really good.
Right, and makes you smart and good looking.
Certainly does. So our first question is, I'd like you to introduce yourself and tell the audience about what it is that you do.
Okay, my name is Udo Erasmus, and I'm 77 years old, so I've been around for a while. I was born in the Second World War in Europe, so I was a refugee when I was 2 years old, fleeing from the communists who were chasing us in tanks and trucks, and the Allies were shooting at us from planes. And they knew we were refugees, but they were shooting at us. And it was a pretty hectic childhood. And so I didn't know what I could count on because it was pretty chaotic. So I studied science because I wanted to understand how things work. And then I studied biological sciences because I wanted to know how creatures work. And then I studied psychology to understand how thinking works. And then I got into self-knowledge because I really needed to know how I work. And that's the long story. When I was 6 years old, I listened to people argue about really, I thought, stupid things. And I said, man, there has to be a way that we can live together in harmony. And my whole big deal is, what does it take for human beings to get along? And I think I have a good answer for it. First thing is you have to get along with yourself. And that means you have to spend a little bit of time by yourself every day, just doing nothing, just being present and feeling what it feels like to be a human being. And that's the foundation. When you can be comfortable in your own skin, then the world's easy. When you're not comfortable in your own skin, everything's impossible. So I think the first adventure is about the internal adventure, being present in your own life, sitting still, and seeing how still you can sit, and seeing how long you can sit still, and seeing how deep you can go in your stillness, and seeing how present you can be in that deep stillness. And you'll discover that you came loaded with everything. You already have everything. In life, you already have everything. And so that's the first adventure. After that, basically it's like, okay, what needs to be done? Because if I feel good in my own skin, I just want to help. There's nothing else really. I got to eat a little bit and sleep a little bit and wash a little bit and go to the toilet a little bit, but it's not complicated. What I need in my life it's not a lot. But and then, we have 8 billion people on the planet, and they all deserve to have their basic needs taken care of. And what can I do to help make that happen? If I have extra time or extra money or extra talent, then I want to use that to help other people. And that's the second adventure. That's the outside adventure, right?
Yeah, that's amazing. So through life, like you said, you was born in World War II. You was a refugee, so you had to go to a safe place and find where you can call it home. That was your first adventure, really. We all go through disrupting times in our life where, like when you were 2, you said you had to flee from the planes who were shooting at you. That's an adventure. It's not an adventure that I wanted to have. Yeah, but it's an adventure that you go on.
Right, but because I had that adventure, it got me thinking. So I wasn't just fooling around. I was pretty serious when I was pretty young, that I don't want anybody to be in a war. So what do we have to do to be able to live in peace? And again, it starts on the inside, because if you're always fighting in your own mind, then sooner or later you're going to be fighting outside too. If you can find the peace inside of you, then there is peace inside of every human being. Every human being. Doesn't matter whether they're in jail or in government. Doesn't matter whether they're kids or old people. There is a peace inside of every human being. And if you can find that peace inside yourself, then you can literally live in that peace and make the world a more peaceful place. If you're angry all the time, then of course you're going to make the world more dangerous, right? And by like when you're angry, then you see enemies. When you're afraid, then you see danger, right? Well, when you're in peace, you see peace everywhere. And when you're okay, when you're okay because you're present and you're breathing and you're just present with yourself, and you're okay, well, then you look around and say, hey, everything's okay. Just about. When it isn't okay, then you make it okay. It's like not really complicated.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Thank you for sharing. So I think you've already answered our next question, which is, what is your why and why do you do what you do?
Why do I do what I do?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it does kind of answer that question. Yeah. I do what I do. I do what I do because I've been given so much that I have a lot to give. Right? Yeah. You can't give you can't give what you don't have.
Sure.
The more you have, the more you can give. And I have a lot just by being alive. We all have been given. We're rich. Life is unbelievably rich. Even if you have no money in the bank. Even if your pockets are empty, just lint in your pockets, right? You're still super rich, because to be alive is super rich.
Yeah.
Even when you have pain, it's a sign of life. Dead people don't have pain. Right? So when you have bad experiences, those are rich too.
Wow. Okay.
So my why is I just want to help. I think 8 billion people could live their lives lit up from within. And when they do, they will feel so cared for by life that they won't steal each other's stuff.
Yeah.
And when we don't steal each other's stuff, then we can live together in harmony. And when we live together in harmony, we can make sure that everybody's basic needs are taken care of on a long-term sustainable basis. That's my why.
Thank you for sharing. It's a really amazing answer. Thank you. So our next question is, do you like to go on adventures?
Do I like to go on adventures?
Yeah.
Well, whether I like to go on them or not, I'm on an adventure. We're all on the adventure, right? Life is the adventure. So life is the adventure, whether we like.
I'll keep it there. Yeah. So, so thank you for that amazing answer. So our next question is, what is the best adventure that you've been on and why?
Okay. I would say the best adventure is breathing. Why? Because breath brings life, and life brings everything. Right?
Yeah.
You know, if you think about it, for like billions of years, you didn't exist. I didn't exist. Billions of years, right? And then something came together, and here I am. Now I exist as a human being, alive. And when my life is finished, then I won't exist for billions of years. So this is the time. This is our time to be fully, to really enjoy being alive.
That's what we all need. We need to celebrate every day, just being alive. Yeah. Exactly.
Every day, every moment.
Yeah.
Every moment. Yeah.
Because some people don't really think about how important and how lucky you are to be alive. Because lots of people out there, sometimes they're being born, but they have an illness and they live up to 2 years of age,
right,
or maybe even younger. And a lot of people don't really understand that, so they just take life for granted. But we all need to appreciate life and not take it for granted. And every day saying thank you to your parents for giving you the chance to have life. And just making sure that you appreciate your life.
Because if you weren't alive, then you'd be just a bunch of dust sitting around on the ground somewhere, right? Dust, a little bit of water. A little bit of like a little water puddle, right? And a little bit of air. That's all you'd be. But it came together, all that air, water, and dust came together in this beautiful way with energy to make a human being who's alive. So it's like, wow, that's amazing. How did that happen? I mean, and we know how it happens, but that it happens at all is really amazing.
Yeah, thank you for that answer. So the next question is, who inspires you and why?
Who inspires me? Okay. The inner answer is life inspires me, because life is inspiring. Life is inspiration. When you're in touch with that, when you feel it, it inspires you. On the outside, there have been many people that have inspired me. Some of them got me interested in science. Some of them answered questions that I had. Some of them took care of me when I was kind of living on the streets for a while. So there's a lot of people. And what inspires me is love. When somebody's kind, when somebody does things with love, that's inspiring. And why is that? Because love is the only thing on the planet that works all the time. You know, all the old people, like the really wise people, they all say love is the core of it. And little babies, when they're really young, they know love is the core of it. Yeah. And when you have, some people have had some near-death experiences, and then they died. They thought they died, and then they came back.
Yeah.
They all say love is the only thing that works. And if you ask the masters like Buddha or Jesus or Krishna or all those different masters, they all said they only had one law. They said the only law: love life and love your neighbor as yourself. Right? It's always love. They didn't have 10,000 laws like we do, right? They only had one, because they knew if you follow the law of love, you don't need any other laws. And if you don't follow the law of love, you'll break all the other laws anyway. So I think love is inspiring, and it happens in 1,000 different ways. Because love in one situation is different from love in another situation. It's always whatever does the situation need. What is the need of this situation? How can I make this situation better for the people involved in it? That's love.
Thank you for sharing. That was amazing. So our next question is, what has been a pivotal moment in your life, and what did it teach you?
What has what?
What has been a pivotal moment in your life, and what has it teach?
A pivotal moment. Yeah. There was a moment when I realized that I needed somebody to show me a step, because I was trying to figure something out. And it had to do with how to go inside and how to be present in my own life. And I had been trying to figure it out, and I wasn't getting there. I was just getting crazier and trying really hard. And I was missing something. And I said to somebody, I know there's a perfection within me. I know I'm not connected to it, and I need to find someone who can show me a step. And the moment that I got that clear, I said it in the evening to somebody, and the next morning I met that person. It was like that person was just waiting for me to be ready so he could show up. So that's a good one. There are lots of other ones, but life is the whole life is an adventure from start to finish.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. So next question is, what are 3 lessons that you have learned in life that are the difference that makes the difference?
3 lessons that make the difference?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, the first one is that thing about love, because it was, I used to get angry a lot, and I used to get sad a lot, and I used to get jealous because my brother was bigger than me, and so I a lot of things, and learning that love always works no matter what's going on. And it works not necessarily that I get what I want, but it works because it puts me in a place. It puts me in a good place. And sometimes on the outside, everything sucks. And on the inside, I'm completely okay. Right? Mm. And it's very nice to know that difference. So that'd be the second one, is to know the difference between what's on the inside and what's on the outside. Because I have complete control over the inside, how I feel. I can choose my feelings. I can choose my thoughts. If I can be quiet enough, then I literally have control of that. Mm. On the outside, I can do influence, but I can't control it. See, I can tell you I'd like you to be a loving person, but I can't make you be a loving person.
Yeah.
But for myself, I can be a loving person. I have 100% choice. So that's a good lesson to understand. And what else? How about this one? Everything that can change will change. And the only thing that won't change is what can't change.
Yeah.
And know the difference, because if you build your life on what cannot change, something in you that is stable, It's in every human being, is something completely stable, completely reliable. If you rely on that, you will never be disappointed. If you try to make other people give you that stability, or other things give you that stability, you're going to be disappointed, because the outside is not stable.
Yeah.
For you, the inside, there's something inside of you, there's stable and unstable. But on the outside, you don't have control over stable. So that's a good lesson too. It's an insight.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing. So the next question is, what is your dream adventure and why?
My dream adventure?
Yeah.
Okay, I am on my dream adventure. Yeah, it's true. I'm on a dream adventure. I love being alive, and I love what I get to do, including this, and yeah, if somebody, sometimes people say, if you could live your life all over again, what would you change? And my answer is, I wouldn't change anything. I'm doing what I love doing. I've been doing it for a long time now. I don't want to be somebody else. I like who I am. I like how I turned out. I could have turned out a lot worse, given that I was born in a pretty difficult situation. This is the adventure that I want to be on. And I would not change anything, because I just think it's a fabulous adventure.
Wow. Thank you. That was amazing, and a lot of people don't think about that. They don't think about a lot of people say, I want to be a member of royalty, and I don't like my life, but you really need
yeah. Well, yeah, when you're discontent, when you're discontent, then whatever you have is wrong. Like, I'll give you an example. It's a good example because I'm talking to you, right? I'm a white guy. I always wanted to have darker skin, right? Yeah. And then I know in Japan, for instance, they have darker skin, and they always want to make their skin whiter. And my answer to that is, well, if you're discontent, then whatever you've got is you want something else.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. When you're content, you don't want it, you have, because contentment makes you appreciate how unbelievably lucky you are with whatever you've been given. Right? I used to look at my face in the mirror, and I say, yeah, I wish I had brown eyes. I wish I had black hair. I wish I had dark skin. Right? And I was always dissatisfied, and I could always find something to criticize. And we do that, right? You have a whole body that's amazing, right? And then you look in the mirror, and the only thing you see is a little pimple on your cheek, right? Right? I mean, it's crazy. And when I started feeling content, because I started going inward and discovering how amazing my life is, I would look at the same face that I didn't like before, and I say, not bad. There's nothing wrong with this, right? And it's just the difference between being present in your life and not being present in your life. And if you're in your head, then you can say, well, you know what? I wish I'd have been born in the 16th century. I wish I'd been born in Africa. I wish I'd been born in a rich family. I wish my parents had given me $1 million the day I was born, and then I could have spent it all on candies. Right? I mean, it's stupid. It's crazy. It's like you just come up with stuff. What? Yeah. You don't have enough? What? Being alive is not amazing? But only when you know it, you know it.
And a lot of people think about what they want, and they ask their parents, oh, can I get makeup so I can make my face look better? But they don't think about, how can I help my parents if they're in a bad situation? If they're feeling
Right.
bad, how can I support them to make them feel better? How can I raise their vibration so that they can help me when I help them? A lot of people think about receiving, but they don't really think about giving. And a
Yeah.
lot of people give on purpose to get an outcome, which is receiving. They didn't
Hmm.
give because they wanted to help someone. They gave it
Right.
because they knew that in this universe, it's like a boomerang. When you throw it, it always comes back to the same person. So when
Right.
you give something, you will receive it back.
Right.
So a lot of people nowadays just take it for granted and give only because they want to receive. But
Right.
we need to learn that we need to give not because we want to receive quicker, but because we want to help someone. And
Hmm.
when we need help, they can help us.
Right. Yeah. I say it a little different. You want to hear my version of that?
Sure.
When I don't feel taken care of, everything I do, I'm always looking for, and I'll only do things that I say, oh, I see that could take care of me.
Mm.
Right. So when I'm discontent, I'm always taking. Everything I do has taken it. I want something for me, because when I'm discontent is like very powerful.
Mm.
Right. So I got to get content. And then I don't know what will make me content. I don't know that I just have to go inside to a different place to be content. Nothing has to change on the outside. I think it's on the outside. So I'm always going, how can I get my contentment from this situation or from that person? Right?
Mm.
The moment that I started knowing how to get to the contentment that's inside of me, that's always there. So I could be content anytime I wanted just by going to that place. And if I wasn't content, then I knew where to go to get content. And the moment I felt content, it's like, wait a minute, I'm taken care of. It's not about me anymore. How can I help? So I went from a taker to a giver just by getting to the place where I realized I'm taken care of. And we're getters until we're content, and we become givers the moment we become content.
Mm.
And then because then when I'm content, then I can help because something needs to be done, not because it's going to take care of me. And the universe takes care of us anyway.
Mm. Thank you.
Right? So, yeah. So
I like your version.
yeah, it's pretty. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool. And I remember, I mean, it's honestly till I was 30. I was 30 years old when I started doing the inner journey. There were things that needed to be done that I wouldn't do because I couldn't see how they would take care of me.
Mm.
And now it's like, okay, what needs to be done? Because I don't need to be taken care of anymore. And now I can do bigger things because it's not about me. It's about what's the biggest splash I can make in my life. I get one life, I get so many years. What's the biggest splash for good that I can make? That's how I think now. And now I take on bigger projects, and it turns out that the markets in those bigger projects are bigger because it needs to be done.
Yeah.
And then it means I also do better financially because I'm taking on bigger projects and I'm helping more people. And why do people give you their money? People will give you their money for anything that you do that makes their life easier or gets them either more joy or less pain.
Mm.
Because money is just an exchange for that.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm. Thank you. Really love that. It's amazing. So our next question is, what was the reason behind your last adventure?
Well, I haven't done my last adventure yet because I'm still alive. So reason my last. Well, I'll tell you though. when I wrote a book called The Book on Total Sexy Health, the 8 Key Parts Designed by Nature. And it's a book about health, nature, and human nature. And the reason why I started doing that, and that's an adventure. Writing that was it was really a fun adventure. And the reason why I wrote it was I was teaching people about oils. You were talking about my oil and taking my oil, and I spent many years developing the way to make oils without damage and making them that they're good for health. And people get good results with them. But actually, you can't just be healthy just on oil. There's more to health than oil. So then I worked with digestive enzymes and probiotics and greens, but you can't be completely healthy with just oils, greens, enzymes, and probiotics. What else? Well, you need to be inspired. That's not a product. So then it was like, okay, well, how can I inspire people? Because that'll get them healthy. It makes it easier to make changes. And then I started thinking, well, what else affects health? And you know what? Everything affects health. So everything affects health. How you feel in your heart affects health. You know, whether you're in touch with your life, energy affects health. Whether you're inspired affects health. How you eat and whether you exercise affects health. How you do in crisis affects health. Who you hang out, who you hang out with, you know, who you spend time with affects your health. What your environment looks like affects your health. And the fact that you're a tiny little creature in a huge universe, and that one day it's going to end. The body is going to end. That affects health. If you accept it, it's good. And if you say, oh, I'm going to die one day, I'm going to die, oh God, right? That's going to affect your health too, right?
Yeah.
So the idea was, I want to do a book that covers everything that affects health. Because you can't, people sometimes say, we're kind of lazy sometimes, right? So we say, well, I just want to do one thing and I want that one thing to fix everything. And it doesn't work like that. You have to give everything its due. If you have a father and a mother, you don't give your mother love and not your father, or the other way around, right? Your mother needs love and your father needs love. So you got to do both.
Yeah.
Right. Then you got brothers and sisters, right? So you have to give everything its due. Then there's your friends in school. Then there's the people on the street, right? So everything, you have to give everything its due.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
So that's the idea with health as well. You have to give every part of it, every part of your being, you need to give it the attention it needs. And then you have a really good life.
Thank you for sharing. That's amazing. Thank you. So our next question is, would you agree that children my age should spend more time outdoors? If so, why?
Well, because you're not a houseplant. Right?
Yeah.
You're not a houseplant, right? Human beings are a part of nature, and nature is mostly outdoors. And so to be out of touch with nature, and that happens in the cities a lot. You live on the streets and you live in the houses, and not so much the trees and not so much creeks and not so much mountains and climbing and rocks and playing around, and people, it's very good for health to spend time in nature. Just a walk in a forest is really good for health. There's research being done on that.
Yeah.
Because we belong to nature. We are part of nature. And so living out of line with what we're part of is not natural. And when it's not natural, then it doesn't really work very well. So every day, sometime outside, even rains or whatever, you can always wear a bromella, right? every day to spend some time outdoors is very good. It's also good for exercise. It's also good for, there's something very calming about plants. You know, they never jump out at you and yell at you, and, you know, they never trip you,
Yeah.
right? They're just there, and they make oxygen, and they make food for you, and you know, they're calm. So spending time in nature is very useful. Even in the city, that if you find a park to go in, I know when I was in London, I went walking in parks quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, we went
because they're really good parks in London.
We actually met up together and we went to
That's right. We met in one of those parks.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. I'm going to keep on saying thank you for sharing because your answers are really, really amazing. Thank you.
I see. I thought you were just saying that because you're supposed to say that.
So our next question is, if you could give advice to your younger self, what would it be?
I would say don't worry so much because everything's going to be okay. But sometimes when you're young, you don't know, right? And there were times when I was younger, I was afraid, and I felt a little bit strange, and you know, and honestly, I have such a good life. It was all there, and everything I went through was important to go through, right? For the life that I live, everything, even the things I didn't like at the time, have been, like the war, is a big gift to me, because it showed me how not to live, and it showed me what happens when we don't deliberately make peace part of our life, or make self-knowledge part of our life. So yeah, I would have said to my younger self, you're okay. You're okay. There's nothing wrong with you. There's never, ever been anything wrong with you or anybody else. Even though you've thought stupid things and felt bad and said some nasty stuff and did some unfriendly things, there's never been anything wrong with you, because you are not what you think, what you say, or what you do, or what you feel. You are life, and there's nothing wrong with life ever. And when people get in touch with the life that they are, their behavior changes. Even people who've done bad behaviors, when they get in touch with their life and discover how beautiful it is and they are, then their behavior changes. Without anybody telling them, just because they feel better, they feel different, and then they behave different.
Thank you. I think you've already answered this question at the start. So the question is, what's your first adventure and where did you go? You answered it at the start when you said that when you were 2, you was born in World War II, so you had to...
Yeah, my first adventure was the war, yeah. Yeah. It was an adventure I would not have chosen, but it's turned out to be a gift, because I learned a lot, and it got me thinking very early, and it put me on the track that I'm on really very early. I was 6 years old when I started thinking seriously about. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Has this interview shifted your perspective?
Okay, sorry, you broke up. I didn't understand what you said.
Oh, has this interview shifted your perspective? If so, what will you do differently going forward?
From doing this interview? Yeah. I would say yes, it shifted my perspective of conversation with 10-year-olds. Right?
Conversations with 10-year-olds.
Yeah, conversation with 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
Right? No, it's very cool. It's very cool. You have a great life ahead of you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So,
and it's nice to see that. And there's nothing wrong with being young and having wisdom.
thank you so much. Really love that. More conversations with 10-year-olds. Come on, people who are listening, more conversations with 10-year-olds because they're really smart.
Yeah, well, yeah. Welcome to 10-year-old sages.
Thank you. Please let people know how they can contact you via social media. And I know you have the Udo's Choice. So
yeah, udoschoice.com is the product website, and udoerasmus.com is the website for all the stuff that I'm doing on health, doing mental health and physical health and all kinds of. We're doing courses and we're doing videos. We're doing quite a bit of videos, so it's going to be an educational website.
Oh yeah, and I just wanted to ask if I could be an ambassador for what you're doing, because I really love what you're doing, and I'd like to be an ambassador for it.
So what does an ambassador do? You have to now define the job for yourself.
So for me, an ambassador is basically helping you to spread your message.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I have really good news for you.
Yeah.
You're already on the team.
Thank you.
And in fact, everybody's on the team. Like 8 billion people are on the team.
Yeah.
And some people are very helpful, and some people are confused, and some people are getting in the way, but they're still all on the team. You can't kick anybody off the team. So the job is to deepen everybody's experience of the beauty of their life, because that's the thing that makes them more effective as team members of this big team of 8 billion people. You're already on the team, and you're already functioning pretty good.
Thank you.
Right? And you'll get better. It's never finished. Every day.
Perfect. Yeah.
Every day you learn something more. Every day. I'm still learning every day. It's always something.
Thank you. And I really love what you said about there's 8 billion people on the team, and some are helping and some are confused. And really, that is the truth. We all are on the team, but sometimes we're not doing stuff. We're not doing things to contribute. To contribute.
Yeah.
Yeah, to contribute.
Yeah, and you know why?
Yeah.
And you know why? Because the people who are not contributing on the team is because they don't feel taken care of yet. So then my question is, how can I help them get to the place in them where they feel taken care of? Because life is taking care of everybody perfectly.
Yeah.
Life has unconditional love for your body. Every day, 24 hours a day, 24/7, 365. Never takes a weekend off, never sleeps, never asks for anything back, never complains, right? Always, and even when you don't like your life, it still takes care of you. It's unconditional love. So every human being is unconditionally loved from the inside. Not everybody knows that. So that's the big job. And then the outside, the smaller job is well, if I have food and somebody else doesn't, then I'll share my food with them. Right? That's a smaller job. The bigger job is to recognize that we're taken care of. Because when I feel taken care of, I get out of my own way. I get in my own way if I don't feel taken care of. Because then it's always like, what's for me? What can I take? Give me, right? And that gets in my way of, number one, being content and living content and enjoying my life, and number two, being helpful to the rest of the world. So yeah, so that's the job. It's a good mission to have.
Mm.
Help people live their lives lit up from within.
Mm. So what message would you like to share with the audience as a departing message, just to encourage them?
Okay, yeah, life is short. Be fully present in it.
Wow.
Because it's an awesome, awesome, awesome experience.
Thank you. So thank you so much for allowing me to interview my fellow adventurer. It was amazing.
That was really fun, Paolo.
Thank you so much. I loved all the answers you gave, and through me interviewing you, you actually took me on an adventure as well, or about your life journey and what you're going to do going forward. So that's really, really helped me now, because with what you said about the 3 different things that you've learned, that's the difference that makes the difference. Just be yourself. Yeah, that really
very cool.
helps. Yeah. So just thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah. So this is Udo Erasmus.
Udo Erasmus.
Udo Erasmus. Okay. Yeah, great. Right. So Udo Erasmus. He's an author, public speaker, and the founder of Udo's Choice. Go check out his website and get healthy. And thank you for letting me interview you.
Thank you for interviewing me.
Bye.
Bye-bye.